Yes, yes. Welcome everybody. Welcome to our today's class. We are going to talk about IP addresses, right? Very easy concept. I know that some of the guys think like it's very difficult, but we are going to see that it's very easy. And I got my Word document that I'm going to use for today, right? Yeah, let's start. I got a table that I'm going to be using, right? Just follow with me, and for any exercise that I will send, you have to stop and start doing those exercises, right? Let's start. As I said, we are going to speak about IP addresses, right? Let me try to share my screen. Yeah, we are going to talk about IP addresses, right? We do have two versions. When we are talking about IP addresses, you need to understand that we do have two versions, right? There is what we call version 4 and version 6, right? So when we are speaking about IP addresses, you need to understand that we do have two versions, version 4 and version 6, right? But what is an IP, like address? So as we spoke about last time, the IP address will allow us to identify devices, right? Unique numbers. Those are the unique numbers, right? This is what you need first to understand. Number one, unique numbers. That will allow you to identify what? Devices like in your network. So like IPv4 and IPv6 will allow you to identify numbers, right? No, will allow you to identify devices like in your network. So you can have your company, you can use like IPv4, I can have my company, I can use IPv6, but you need to understand the difference and why are you using like IP4 and why am I using IPv6, right? Number two, you need to understand that IPv4 will use 32 bits, right? Will use 32 bits, while IPv6 will use 128 bits, right? So the size of your IPv4 will be 32 bits, and the size of your IPv6 is 128 bits. So if I have my computers, I'm using IPv4 to identify them, so I will use 32 bits. And if you are using IPv6, you're gonna use 128 bits, just the size of your IP, right? Let's move to number 3. So when you are using your IPv4 will be split it in 4 parts. So divided in 4 parts, right? But when you are using your IPv6, it's going to be divided in 8 parts, right? This is what you need to understand. So your IPv4 will be divided in 4 parts, and your IPv6 will be divided in 8 parts. Let's see, like this example, right? It's gonna be like A, right? So your IPv4 will have this particular form, like what? Like again, it's gonna be like 192.168.1.2. You can see there are 4 parts. But here, when you are using your IPv6 will have like 8 parts. It's gonna be like A, and yeah. So this is the main difference also, right? So your IPv4 will be divided in 4 parts. But when you speak about IPv6, your IPv6 will be divided in 8 parts, right? And number 4, your IPv4 will be separated using dot or period. Dot or period, right? But your IPv6 will be separated using what? Colon, right? So this is also one of the difference. So when you are using like IPv4, you're gonna separate your parts by using dot or period. But when you are using like IPv6, you're gonna separate by using colon, right? So something like this one, all right? Let me check. Okay. Okay. Number 5, we do have what we call the ranges, right? The ranges. So the range here will go between 0 to 255. So when you are using an IP address, your numbers can only go between 0 to 255. You cannot have an IP such as 260.2.2.2. No, that's not allowed, right? So your ranges can only be between 0 to 255. What does it mean? Right? You cannot have like this one, dot 3.3.3. No. Right? Why? Because 278, it's above what? 255. So you cannot use this one. Right? So the range of all your numbers separated by dots can only go between 0 and 255, right? I will go more with IPv4 because this is what it's required more for your CCNA, right? For CCNA1 especially, right? And beside that, you need also to understand that for the notation, IPv4 uses what we call dotted decimal. Dotted decimal means that you are using dots to separate your numbers, right? But if you are talking to IPv6, the range will go between 0 to FFFF, right? But don't mind about like IPv6. So if I want to summarize myself, I was saying this, we are speaking about IPv4, so IP addresses first. When you are talking about the IP address, you have to understand that there are 2 versions, IPv4 and IPv6. But all will allow us to identify our devices, right? This is number 1. From number 2, you have to understand that when we're talking about the sizes, IPv4 will use 32 bits, but IPv6 will use 128 bit. It's a bit longer. And number 3, so IPv4 will be divided in 4 parts, but IPv6 will be divided in 8 parts, right? And for IPv4, we are using dots or periods to separate those parts, right? But IPv6, we are using colon. Number 5, when we're talking about IP version 4, for every number that we are going to choose, that number can only go between 0 to 255. What does it mean? You cannot have a number like 290.20. No, it can only be between 0 to 255, right? Now, let's go more, let's speak about IPv4 again. IPv4 will be divided in classes. Will be divided in 5 classes, right? So when we are speaking about IPv4, we do have 5 classes that we are going to see now, right? So IPv4 will have 5 classes. So when you see an IP address, you must be able to identify the class, right? There's what we call class A, B, C, D, and E, right? So as I said, you must be able to identify the class that you are using, right? There are five classes: the class A, class B, class C, D, and E, right? So class A, you have to identify them by checking the range of the first octet, right? So it's gonna be like the range for this class is between 0 to 127, right? So what does it mean when we're talking about the class A? Class A means that the first octet, first part, that number must go between 0 to 127. Example, I can have this IP, right? So you can see that 18 is between what? 0 to 127. This is a class A. Why class A? Between, so this is class A. Why? Because 18 is between 0 and 127, right? This is the meaning, right? Let me give you another example. Example 2, when you have like this one, 50 dots, right? You can see that 50 is between what? Between 0 and 127. So this is a class A. So when you look at like an IP address, you must be able to identify the class. You must look at the first octet, the first part. So if it's between 0 to 127, we are talking about class A, right? And for class A, there's what we call the default. Okay, that one I'm going to speak about it later on. Let's move to class B. So class B range is between 128 to 191, all right? So when your IP will start maybe like this one, so this is a class B. Why class B? Because the first digit is between 128 and 191. Let's move to class C. For class C, the range is between 192 to 223, right? Like example, you can have 1 or 200.52.56.32. You can see that 200 is between 192 and 223. So this is a class C, right? And we don't use class D. So class D is for multicast, and class E is for experiment. We don't use them. So we don't use the class D and class E, right? So make sure that you understand what I'm talking about now. So as an exercise, I will ask Ntokozo to check, give 5 IP in class A, B, and C. So this is like one of the exercises I'm gonna ask for you to do it and send it to me now, right? I can check the screenshots, right? Just give like five like IP addresses from class A, from class B, and class C. You choose your own like IP, and you have to go to packet tracer, right? Let me go to packet tracer. I will show you how we can design like our network by using class A, right? Okay, I can just pick up maybe 3 computers. So I'm gonna use class A. I'm gonna pick up a switch. Oh, let me try to share a bit my screen. Okay, so I'm gonna use like class A to assign my IPs to my computers. Okay, you must do the same with me. So you do it together with me. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna use the class A, right? For class A, we know that the first octet, the first part must always be between 0 to 127. So I'm gonna go to my computer, desktop, IP. Let me check if you can see my screen properly. I wanna make sure that you can see. Okay. For the first computer, I'm gonna use a class A. So I can pick up maybe 60.2.2.2, and you click on subnet mask. You see subnet mask is coming what? 255.0.0.0. Means don't change. The 60 will remain because it's like you got your family, you got your father's name, your family name that you cannot change. Your family name shows like you belong to that family, right? So I want to change the 60, right? Because I want like everybody to be in the same network. So 60 will remain the same. Now I'm gonna go to the next computer. Let me try to check my second one, desktop with IP. I'm gonna try again to share if you can see. Okay. So I want gonna change the first one. Maybe I can pick up here, I can take 3.2.2, I think. I think so, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check it the way it was. Oh, okay. I saw it. Okay. When I'm done, I can try to test the connectivity. Let's try to test the connectivity. I'm gonna try to ping. It was 60.3.2.3.2. Yeah, you can see that the communication happens. All right. So I want you to exercise. You have to pick up 5 IPs for class A, the class B, and class C. When you are done, you must go to packet tracer. Make sure that you design your network in class A. You try to assign them your own IP. You ping. When you are done with class A, you must go to class B. You assign also your IPs by using your class B, and you go also for class C. Make sure that you understood. The class A, we are using the class A for bigger companies. The class B, smaller companies or medium companies, and class C for very small companies, right? So for class A, there are so many IPs like available. It's for government or bigger companies. When you are using the class B, it's for medium companies. When you come to class C, it's for smaller companies, right? So for every class, there are maximum numbers of IPs that you can use. So for every class, you've got maximum numbers of IP. So it's your responsibility, you as an administrator, you as an engineer, when you have your company, you must know how many devices we are going to have. When you know the number of devices, you will know which class to go for, because the IPs are limited according to what? According to your class, right? For every class, there are numbers of IPs, right? So if you use the wrong class, you will have also limited number of IPs, and some of the devices will miss like IP addresses. People can come to your Wi-Fi wireless access point with their phones. They cannot get connected. Why? Because there is no IPs. The IPs are done. You run out of IPs. So I'm going slowly by slowly in order for you to understand all those concepts. Do my exercises, go to class A, you pick up your IPs, go to class B, you pick up your IPs, and class C. You must be able for now to choose your own class and your own IPs, right? So don't ask yourself where those IPs are coming from. Thank you very much. This is my first video for today. I will send another one, all right?